Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? Just another effed up story about my life. This one isn't really a funny one so much. It's just something screwy that happened when I was younger. Where I thought I was gonna get my ass kicked by about 12 or 15 people for something I didn't even do. Anyway, so what happened was me and this guy I was friends with at the time. We were on our way to a party, and I think it was one of us, it might have been him, I'm not sure, had to go take a leak. We're in a townhouse complex in Mississauga, and he wandered off. I'm going to say he had to pee. It makes the most sense, I think, as far as the story goes, but he wandered off to take a leak. So I'm walking up ahead, and I'm going down one of the streets, and I passed by a car. I remember it was like a Hyundai Pony or some piece of shit in sitting in the driveway. I just walked by it, and the light on it was the interior light was on for some reason. I didn't really think too much of it until this guy pops his head out. He was staying by his door, smoking a cigarette, and he pops his head out, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I just kind of looked at him. I don't know who this guy is or what he's talking about, so I just like kept walking, like just looked at him, huh? Like, I don't know. He was a little bit bigger than me. He was old. Like I think I was probably about 17 or 18, probably 18 at the time. And so I just kept walking. Now, mind you, he was a regular looking guy. I think I may have still had my mohawk at the time. I don't know if I don't know. Anyway, I don't think I had it up. Anyway, I think I had a baseball cap on, and I was wearing like my ratty old jacket, and actually it was a jean jacket with a skull painted on the back, and probably 14-hole docks on. So, in his mind, I look sketchy and out of place, and probably someone that would have been in his car. So he starts following me, and yelling. Well, this is blurry. Is this me? Yelling shit at me like get back here, come back here. Why were you in my car? I'm gonna kick your ass if you don't get back. But he's not chasing. Like, he's not running after me. He's just walking. So I'm walking, and I'm looking around. I don't know where my friend went. I'm calling him. I think his name was Sean or something. It was Sean, yeah. And I was like Sean, where are you? Like, Sean, there's like a crazy guy following me, and I don't know where he went. He just kind of disappeared somewhere, and kind of had his own little adventure, which I found out later. So I'm walking, and I'm just walking all over the place. I'm not even sure of the address of the place I was supposed to go to. So I'm even looking around for the house, and then, okay, this guy's being relentless. And you gotta consider, at that time I was only about 135 pounds. I was a skinny little punk kid, right? Like, this guy was, he was a full average size adult. So I'm walking down the street, and then now I leave the complex. I'm thinking, okay, maybe if I leave the complex, he'll go away. And I'm walking down Central Parkway now, Central Parkway Boulevard, I guess, or Avenue, I can't remember. But it was Central Parkway, and then I decide to cross the street, thinking, okay, if I cross the street, maybe he'll go, but he doesn't. So I walk through a path up into a park, and this is going on for like quite a few minutes now. I'm like, and he's not chasing me, like, he's not running after me, he's not trying to grab me, he's just yelling shit at me and trying to get me to turn around and go to him. So anyway, I circle back down another street, and I end up back on Central Parkway again, cross whatever the street was that's at Burnhamthorpe. Or actually, no, I wasn't at Burnhamthorpe yet. Sorry, I crossed into, there's a Central Parkway mall there. I'll cross into the parking lot, and then there's a bunch of other kids there. Some of them I recognized from school and stuff, and but they weren't in my circle of friends. These guys were like homies and stuff, and they were like the hip hop guys, whereas I was like in the punk scene and stuff. So anyway, a lot of weird noises going on over there. But anyway, I see them, and they just kind of look at me, and they're like, yo, so, like that kind of thing. And I was just like, hey, I don't know, some fucking guy's following me, man. I don't know who he is. Some or I didn't say sketchy. That wasn't really a word I used at that point in my life. I didn't know the word in that regard. But anyway, I said, there's some crazy guy following me, and so I start walking through the parking lot, and the guy's like kind of far behind me, but he's still following me. And I'm thinking like he's close enough, I can't really hide anywhere because he can see me, but he's far enough away that, like, why isn't he giving up? So I look back, and I see that Now he's talking to all these guys, and right then I know, fuck. I already know what's going to happen. He's telling them his whatever story that he thinks happened, about broken his car, whatever it was he thought I did. So I turn. So I start walking a little quicker, and then all I hear is and they're all running and running after me. Now again, I'm just a small little guy, and I'm wearing big heavy boots, so I'm running, and I get to Burnhamthorpe, and they're catching up to me. And as they're running, I'm running straight across the street, and there's like a big fence there, and they kind of went like this, so they spread out. First, actually, as I was running across the street, a car comes up, and they look, and then they just sped off. And then a guy in a pickup truck, and he had his window down, and I remember yelling, "Can I jump in the back of your truck?" And he just laughs at me. He's like, "Ha ha," you know, he was some asshole, obviously. Had some sort of prejudice against people that dressed the way I dressed. I'm assuming that was his problem, like why he would laugh at that. So anyway, I'd run around the truck. By this time, they're like right there. Like, I got nowhere to go, so the only thing I do is straight for the fence. And I was a lot smaller and thinner then. A little bit quicker, I guess. I got up on top of the fence, and just as I'm about to get over, I just feel right on the ass of my pants. Somebody or a couple people pull me down, slam me down on the sidewalk. It's like, boom. And I'm just lying there. I'm like, fuck. And I'm not sure what's about to happen, so they just pick me up, and they drag me back over, across the street, and I'm trying to get away from, but there's like 12 of them, right? And again, I'm just a little guy, and pretty much all of them were bigger than me. They're pulling me, and they're punching me in the ribs and in the stomach and in the side of the head. And again, they don't know this guy, and I don't know this guy, and they're just going by what he had told them I did, and using that as an excuse, probably just to smack around a guy that looks like me, because we had friends, my friends and their friends didn't get along at school. It was like I wouldn't say we weren't gangs or anything, but it was just their circle versus my circle. It didn't mix like oil and water. So they get me over to this guy, and again, I'm trying to get away, but it's pointless. And again, they're punching me, and I can't even defend myself. They're holding me back. So anyway, they get me up to this guy. They drag me all the way back, and it's like a McDonald's. Like they're sitting in front of the McDonald's. So, meow. So they get me up to the McDonald's with this guy standing, and they're holding me like so he can hit me or something. And I don't remember exactly how the conversation went, but you know, he was saying like, what were you doing to my car and all this other shit, and I was like, I didn't touch your car. I had nothing to do with your car. I don't, you know, why is the light on? I don't know. So anyway, they're holding me, and I guess the guy realized I'm just a kid. You know, for all he knew, I was 15 years old, because I was only 18, but I looked young. I was still a kid, and if he hit me, he'd be assaulting a minor. So, you know, they're like, do you want to hit him? You want to hit him? And I'm kind of like scared too, because you know, I don't know what this guy is capable of. This crazy guy just followed me for 20 minutes, and he's like, no, fuck it. And then they said, do you want us to take him around behind the mall? And you know, and I'm looking at him. I was just like, I shook my head, kind of like no, like don't do this kind of thing. And he just said, no, fucking let him go. So, you know, they pushed me down and gave me a couple kicks, like not hard kicks, but just, you know, more to humiliate me. So I get up, and he walks away. So I'm walking the other way, just to get away from all these people. But I'm thinking, like, I don't know where my friend went. So I gotta wait. So I'm waiting a bit, because I know I have to go back to where I just come from and find my friend. So, and we were on our way to a party. So we're walking around. I walk around, and then I see him coming up the street with my friend from the party. Now, they didn't know each other. They just happened to run into each other by a completely different circumstance. And he's like, where the fuck were you, man? Do you know what just happened to me? I'm like, do you know what just happened to me? And apparently, when he wandered off, he actually got to the address. He didn't know the address. He just happened to be in front of the house, and he was looking for me. Some other guys see him. Now, I was a punk. He was a skinhead, but he wasn't a racist skinhead. He was a Trojan skinhead. You know, like the Sharp skins, for example, skinheads against racial prejudice. So you know, he had the jacket on, the boots, so and the shaved head. So to most people seeing him assume in that area, because there were a lot of neo-Nazi skinheads in Mississauga at the time, like a lot. Like it was ridiculous how many there were. But anyway, so he some guys, I can't remember if they're black or if they're white, but they're hip hop guys, were starting with him, and so they were throwing him around. But then my friends happened to come outside. They heard some commotion, saw him. They're like, "What are you doing? Leave him alone." You know, they didn't know him, but they just didn't like what was going on. And he said who he was, and then said, they're friends with me. And you know, they smacked him around a bit, but they didn't beat him up or anything. So then they started looking for me after all this happened, like my friend and him, and it was just, where were you? What the fuck happened? Like, you know, so it was just a weird little story. There's really no moral to it or anything like that. It was just something that happened. Now I almost got my ass kicked for something I didn't even do, just by walking down the street. And I guess the guy didn't like the way I looked. The other people didn't like the way my friend looked, and he almost got his ass kicked too for just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. This guy, though, I haven't talked to him in years. He actually tried to steal my jacket and some other things. I actually had to not break into his house. I went into his house with his parents, or his sister actually let me in, but we had to break down his door to get my stuff that he had hidden, buried in his closet. The guy was actually turned out to be a jackass, but anyway, it was a long time ago. But yeah, that was just another funny or effed up story about my life. Not really funny, but not funny, I guess, in a weird kind of way. But yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and until the next one, bye.